Are you not a Christian or struggling with being open to that? Uh, and you have your reasons why you don't accept following Christ or religion or God. Uh, I'd like to address you in this video and appeal to you that maybe there's something you should consider. I also want to address, are you a follower of Christ and you would like to grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ, or learn how to help other people become followers of Jesus Christ? We can actually begin to accomplish all three of those in this video. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. So I hope that you will reflect with me on a little journey here of getting in that direction. So a big question to ask would be, and we might not always be aware of this, but all of us have a mechanism through which we interpret life and make decisions. What is your mechanism? Again, some of us are aware of it, some of us are not, but what is your mechanism? So when you come across a decision and you have to decide, especially if it's an either or, I have to either do this or I do this other thing. How do you make that decision? Then, if you're faced with determining what is right and what is wrong here, how do you make that determination? How do you discover what is right and what is wrong? That mechanism is what is in question. And I think some of the options that are out there, because all of us have a mechanism, whether we realize it or not, even if it's just my own sense, I might call it common sense, I might call it intuition, I might call it, I don't know, it might be based on my own pleasures, what I like, preference. I might have some other mechanism. I might have some kind of philosophical approach to life. I may have a faith-based thing, whether I am utilizing the Bible, or if you're not a Christian but you're religious, maybe you're using the Book of Mormon or the Quran or maybe some Buddhist or New Age materials, and you're using something as a mechanism to make that determination of direction. What am I supposed to do here? What decision am I supposed to make? And what is right and what is wrong? Now some that come maybe from a more atheistic, though atheists can use a number of those mechanisms. Some that are more atheists might use the mechanism what they would call facts. The only dilemma with facts is there's a limitation to that. There's two limitations. One, whether or not we know for sure that we have a solid fact, because there are some things that are clearly fact, but then there's other things that are, left for interpretation. Statistics are like that. You can take statistics and make statistics, use the same statistics, and one person can make the case on one side of an argument, and another person take the other side with the same statistics. So it's a matter of interpretations. But here's the other concern with facts is, how can you establish right and wrong by facts? You might establish that a certain act would kill a person, but how do you decide whether or not killing a person is wrong? And the reason why that's important is because we live in a society that's governed by laws and or some kind of a political structure or government, and society is then policing itself and enforcing certain things. And how do we decide what to enforce? The existence of laws means that society believes in morality, believes in ethics, that there is a wrong thing and there is a right thing. And when push comes to shove, everybody believes that. It's what falls into those categories of right and wrong is the question, and how do we determine that? And again, some people are using consensus. That's another mechanism. What is the popular viewpoint? And we want to know what is the mechanism that we're using and what is the most trustworthy mechanism to use. So I'd like for you to consider that and maybe leave that in the comments and say that, this is the mechanism I'm using now. Whether it is the Bible or something else, but this is the mechanism I'm using. And this is why I think this is a good mechanism. Or these are the mechanisms I don't use, and this is why I think these are bad mechanisms. And let's think that through. Now, if you are not a follower of Christ, this will at least put you in I can see that, because you're making a faith you're making a faith decision when you choose a mechanism, because none of these mechanisms, like I said, facts-based mechanism can't actually get you the ethics of right and wrong. So you can't really utilize that one. So, and science is kind of up that same alley. You can't really utilize science. You can use science to prove, like I said, what would kill a human being, but not necessarily demonstrate that it's wrong to do that. So what is your mechanism, and how do you know that that's correct? You're making a faith judgment. So let's think that through. If you are a follower of Christ, it could be that you're a follower of Christ, but your mechanism to determine right and wrong and truth isn't the Bible. Because ask yourself, when you go to make a decision, are you really reflecting on what does the Bible say about this decision? When you're deciding I should or should not do this, are you thinking about statements in the Bible, or is there something else? And if there's something else, then you're using something else other than the Bible as a mechanism, which could generate some problems. Sorry for the background noise. Could generate some problems for you that you're either aware of or not aware of. So let's put those in comments and think that through. Then as far as reaching out to somebody and trying to persuade someone to follow Christ, this is going to be your first order of business. Now there's some heart issues that come into play here, relationship issues, and some spirit issues that come into play here for sure. But one of the things that we're going to want to try to get down to when I'm working with someone to try to convince them to follow Christ is, what is that person's mechanism to evaluate truth and what is right and wrong? Until you get to that, you're going to struggle to convince them, except for an intervention by the Spirit, a heart thing or a relationship thing, or maybe you're overpowering them, maybe with your logic or so forth. But have you really won them to be a follower of Jesus? So consider it like a rung on a ladder. You have this ladder, and two of you are on the ladder. And in order for you to move up the ladder, you have to end up on the same rung to start with. So it's the same way with trying to persuade someone of anything, but especially following Christ, is I need to figure out what rung they're on, and let's start there so I can convince them to move up to the next rung of the ladder, which ultimately would get to a mature follower of Jesus Christ. So when you're witnessing to someone, these are kind of questions or thoughts that you want to explore, because if their mechanism isn't the Bible, then I can't use the Bible to persuade them of anything. And I'm going to have to ask myself, what can I use to get them to use to persuade them? And it's going to have to be going to find out what their mechanism is, show them why their mechanism is more questionable than the Bible, and convince them to make that switch. And then from there, you begin to convince them of things through the Bible by utilizing that mechanism. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, or if you have any questions on that, I'll be glad to answer those. And as we journey forward to maybe another step in this, in a video ahead, we can try to see how do we become better followers of Christ, as well as convince other people to become followers of Christ. One other side benefit, though, for forget of this is also how you can do problem solving. Now, sometimes you can just win people because the nature of your relationship. Sometimes it's a heart thing, it's the Holy Spirit intervention thing. Sometimes, again, you're just overpowering someone because you're convincing with your intellect and so forth. But when you're in like a standstill with somebody, to get resolution, what you're looking for is establishing the mechanism that we're both going to use to establish truth and right and wrong, so that we can utilize that mechanism. That's where we're going to need to get to before we can get to a place of agreement and unity. So again, thoughts, questions. If you think this journey is enticing to you, maybe enticing to somebody else, then share it. Give me a like. Again, comment. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and on Facebook, follow the page as we try to see if we can sort out this mess that we call life. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.